Run him. Oh wow, oh wow. Washboardjim trade stocks at dawn. He's got his eye on the charts till the night is gone. Patterns dance like a wild old song. Breakouts rip and dips are gold. He's got the secrets the wise ones hold. Three black holes in the morning light. Bull flags waving like they're gonna take flight. Washboardjim, yeah, he knew it. All right.
That's how he do it. How's he do it?
How does he do it? Moving averages, they paint the tail up and down like a shipping gale. Catching the wind, he sets the sail. Green candles climb, the bears retreat. Jim's got rhythm, the markets beat. Three black holes in the morning light. Bull flags waving like they're gonna take flight.
Washboardjim.
He knew it, all right.
How's he do it? How's he do it?
How does he do it?
Study, homework. Spend a little extra time. Be patient. Create some wisdom. That's how he do it. All right. Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy. I've got a whole new strategy to try to make it easier for people to maybe learn how to trade as a beginner. And I'm going through a lot of charts, and I kind of like this idea. It's clean. It's patience. It's a different time frame. I've been using a lot of time frames, and lately I've been looking at the 2-minute more often. It's using moving averages, which I use. Different moving averages. It's all but one, my favorite one. And chart patterns, which I've had memorized to a T, and candlesticks. So I'm excited to do this. If this case study works out the way I think it is, I'm going to start tripling down on my trades. So that means bigger money. Instead of thinking about having just a $1,500 trade in, I'm going to be looking at more, maybe 5, 10, 15,000, if I can understand the strategy working just great. So it should increase my profit by at least 300%. Is what I'm thinking. It'll keep me in a trade longer. It'll get me in at the right time. And I'm familiar with all the chart patterns that I need to know about. And I've developed a trading strategy called the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where if you can count to 3, you can trade with me. I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And if you're able to get to 4, you just might make a little bit more. It's a simple strategy. I'm going to try to simplify it a little bit more. Patience is the companion of wisdom. Lately, my goal has been to try to stay in trades longer and take more profit, and I've been doing that. I've succeeded in that this year. Every year I try to set a goal, and every 10 years I try to set a goal. And I've been doing this for 22 years. So I'll probably end up dying trading stocks just for the adrenaline, because I don't have the body anymore to go out and fight or play sports or be very active. I have to kind of use my head now for the first time in my life. Patience is going to be the key to my trading strategy this coming week. I'm going to take, well, I don't know if I'm going to take fewer trades. If I have a good day, I'm going to really whip them out. But I'm going to start out with a challenge for myself. I call it the case study. It's something I've done for many years. I'd move on to another idea each week to try to crystallize my trading strategy, and it's worked out real well. And I've fine-tuned my moving averages, and I'm always constantly fine-tuning my moving averages. So I've got the 200 SMA. I jot these down on paper. 200 SMA with the gold. Use any color you prefer. 200 SMA is my favorite moving average of all. We're going to put on the 20 SMA, and we're going to have the 10 SMA. So I've got the 10 SMA, the 20 SMA, and the 200 SMA. As you can see, we probably hit, on this weekly, we probably hit the EMA on here, on these two double bottoms. And I called every one of these bottoms out in the last 3 years. And I mean to the penny. I just called this last one, and we broke out with 3 white soldiers. This was in the heat of the moment when everybody was really freaking out on a pullback. I look at a pullback as an opportunity, because that's how I learned this strategy of catching knives, trying to buy it at the lowest possible price and then getting 200 or 300% out of a trade, even 50%. Even, it depends on the dollar amount. But I'm going to see how this strategy works, keeping me in a trade and getting me in at the perfect time of the trade. So it works in many time frames. I've noticed that already. We're going to pull up the yearly here. We had a little inverse head and shoulders off this 200. With the 9, the 10 crossed the 20. And then you could have run the stock all the way up as long as it kept that 10 moving average and the 21. So you could have got all the way to the top on this trade if I would have had this strategy at the time. Instead, I scalped it. I made good money. I called the bottom. We ran it on up. Now we're at a triple top, and we pulled back. Everything's about strategy. These guys on Wall Street know this. They don't talk like they used to. They've changed since the retail trader has come into the scene, they don't want to help educate you because you interfered with their scam. They used to always call out the 200 SMA when I first started trading to get you in the trade, or to tell everybody we're at a solid support. They don't even talk about that anymore. So I'm here to fill that void. You just got to remember, we walked in on their turf. This was their deal, man. They had this all down. They were becoming billionaires and millionaires and leaving a lot of the private sector out of this here investment. Now that we have control of it, I know many retail traders that are 40 times better than these fat cats. I mean, if they're fundamental traders, they screwed up. They lied to you about this AI deal. They knew right before they started pumping up AI that fundamentally it wasn't feasible. But they went ahead and they went along with the run for about 2 years, 3 years. Then all of a sudden they wanted to pull it back, so they come in with this CapEx crap. I'm ahead of them by 20 feet. So we had us a little, we got ascending triangle. So we could be ready for another new breakout on this stock on the /ES once the war is settled. So we're going to go straight to the 1 minute or the 2 minute. And this is how I'm going to be looking at this strategy. So being in the now is a big part of learning how to trade. I've come across so many bears, and I've been making a killing in this market. It's the best market I've seen in 22 years. Don't let these fat cats lie to you, because all they want to do is bring back this big run and buy it at a cheaper price. So I'm in the now. So we got the 200. This is going to be the 2 minute time frame that I'm going to be looking at on the /ES. And this is just, I like 200, 200, 200, resistance at the 200, 200, and back at the 200 here on the 2 minute. So when the stock lies below the 200, it's bearish. Once it breaks above the, excuse me, we're bearish as long as we're under the 200. But we're going to use the 20 and the 10. And once we break that 20, that's going to be more important than the 10. The 10 is going to keep you in the trade as long as you want to be in it. But the 20 is going to be the breakout. So we got what you call a 10 SMA over the 20 SMA crossover right here, where that crosses over. That's where you want to start taking the trade. Let's make this a little bit, that's perfect. So chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. So we got an inverse head and shoulders right here. We have the 10 crossing over. This is what I do with the 9 EMA over the 21 EMA. I look for the crossover of the 9 over the 21. Now I'm using these two moving averages to get me in the mood to be bullish. So we're under the 10 SMA, and once we break the 10 SMA, that caught my attention. So I'm going to draw out the snake. What is a snake? It's a pullback. It's called a knife. It activates once you break out of that channel. That's when it wants to pay attention. You don't want to jump in right in the trade. So we're going to draw this here snake out. What the fuck? That ain't the right one. You see how they line up perfectly? Everything lines up so symmetrical. That's why I like trading this way, technically, because it's so clean. Then we got your inverse head and shoulders right here on this pullback. So we've got the snake breakout, and I would have took this trade on the crossover and then sold it once it got below to the, maybe, you know, once it started weakening and going below that, not that 10 SMA and 21 SMA. So there's your crossover, and there's your crossover. So you don't want to take, you want to be in the put as long as you're under that 10 SMA. Once you cross that 10 SMA, that's time to get out of the trade. This is where the trade activates. This is where it activates. This is where you need to really start paying attention. Don't jump in the trade as a beginner. Wait for some more signals. So we got the 10 crossing the 21. I would have probably took this trade because I have all that experience, and I'm looking at these candles at the bottom of it. You see, symmetrically, they're all different than these up here. They're starting to tell you that they're bullish. I'm using the regular chart, candlestick pattern, which has the red and green candles, telling me that there might be a switch in trend. So as we broke the 10, it really caught my attention. Now I could have jumped in here on the 10 on this pullback of this here hammer and run it up and got out of this trade once it started breaking down. So we got like a resistance level right here and right here. It's called a megaphone. We pulled back, and again, as you see the shift in the candlesticks, it's starting to catch my attention again. So we know to get out of the trade when the 10 crosses over the 21. Now as the 10 crosses over the 21 here, and we break out with 3 white soldiers, I'm very excited, and I'm going to take the trade off this inverse head and shoulders. We have 2 inverse head and shoulders on this trade. I'm going to show you the left shoulder and the right shoulder, and I'm going to show you exactly when the best time to take this trade on an inverse head and shoulders. Nobody talks about this. Nobody. So if you really have the patience and the wisdom to be patient, wait for that setup. Wait. If you don't take a trade all day, fine. It wasn't meant for you. That day was not meant for you. If you're in a, the other day I broke down on live on YouTube and on live in the room. I was in a bad trade, and I looked in the chat room and I seen a cuss word, just one cuss word, and it affected my mentality. It affected me mentally, and I reacted to it, and it wasn't even meant for me. And the rest of the day, I just had to kind of just walk away for a bit and listen to music or kind of get back into that where I want to be. So part of being a good trader is having the wisdom to have a straight mind. You got to have a straight mind. You got to be dialed in. So this week I'm going to be dialed in on the 2-minute with this new strategy. So this thing went ahead and took off. I'm going to show you where the head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders on this, that would be a second element to get into the trade. We've already got 2. This will be the 3rd. So you got left shoulder. You got left shoulder, and right shoulder. That second time when it breaks that right shoulder, this is called a neckline of this here head and shoulders, more or less, right in here. Well, maybe right here. Yeah, right there. That's your neckline. I think sometimes this computer has a mind of its own. So you want to draw that neckline in of this inverse head and shoulders. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder would be the place where I would have took this trade right here. I think I would have done it with probably on maybe the 2nd or 3rd candle, definitely this one right here. Then as a rookie, because right after that, right shoulder the second time, that's the secret. The second time, have patience to wait. If it doesn't pull back to that shoulder the second time, it wasn't meant for you. But if you have the patience to wait for that pullback of the second time, now watch this. That neckline became a resistance. Wick, body. And then it was retested. You're still in the trade because you're above the 20. You're still holding on to the trade because you're above the 20. Now the guy that I followed to learn this strategy would get out in 2 or 3 candles. I think I can take it a lot longer adding the snake to this strategy. I think I can get a lot more out of it. And I can keep in the trade longer. And I can get out at a certain point when it started showing some kind of pullback. You got to be in the now. You got to know how much you want to take in. So we pulled back to that right shoulder right here. And then we have another head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders right here. So left shoulder, and I would have jumped in this trade and probably sold it right there in 6 minutes. I would have found that resistance. But again, I'm going to magnify this up and show you how important it is to take that right shoulder the second time. Left shoulder, right shoulder, move up, pull back. There's that right shoulder touch the second time. It's almost, and then there's your crossover. Then you got your big O engulfing candle up to the 200 SMA, and you're out of the trade. So that, if you can get 16 candles, out of this trade on 2 minute, I'd scale out. Leave a couple on the trade. Pulls back, add them back in. This is going to be a real good strategy and going to be real clear. I'm going to be real specific this week live on YouTube. So I took the trade right here on the second shoulder breakout. And I took the trade right here. I went in small and I added on big. And I ran it all the way up till it started breaking below the 21. the 20 SMA, and I got out of the trade. That's /ES. Now I use the /ES to trade the SPX. So I can take 2 trades at once. But I just trade the SPX and the SPY. So we're going to go to the SPX. If you really are having a struggling time trading, George, if you're really struggling and you want a clean approach, don't tell me this thing's starting to go bad on me. There we go. And you want a clean approach. So this chart looks almost exactly as the previous one. We're on the 2-minute. Let's go ahead and push this out 2 days. 3 days. But damn, what the hell is that? That ain't right. What'd I do? There we go. So Thursday, we had that big knife into close. Now, use the 200 and the 20 and think about this. What did I say about the right shoulder the second time? When the 20 starts to have a big gap above the 200, you want to start thinking bearish. You want to start thinking bearish. When the 20 has a huge gap above the 200, you want to start thinking bearish. So you took this trade into close. You got a double top. All of a sudden, 3 black crows, and you had a crossover of the 10 SMA over the 21. That's when you wanted to get out of the trade. No hesitation at all. Then we rode down below it. So that's a big gap up. Same as down here. You've got the big gap down, the 10 SMA. It's taking me a little time to get used to these moving averages. Crossover of the 200 SMA. So when you come in the morning, you got it on the 2-minute time frame, and you're seeing that 9, or that 10. I've used the 9 a lot, so I got to break that. I could use the 9 SMA, but I'm using the 10. I don't know why, but I'm using it. I use the 9 for the same reason I'm going to use the 10, is to stay in the trade and have the crossover like I do the 9 EMA over the 21. This is just going to be, I was asked this weekend, I said, do you think, which one would you prefer, the SMA or the EMA? And I think the SMA will give you more patience. The EMA is a fast-acting moving average. The EMA is a fast-acting moving average. The SMA is a slow-moving average. So we got a slow-moving average, but we're in a slow time frame, which kind of benefits using the SMAs. Now, look where we opened up at. The 200 SMA with a double bottom. Boom. Triple top. Pull back again to the 200 SMA. I got my attention. 200 SMA, 200 SMA. Then we got another snake. So this is when the chart patterns come into effect. You got a wedge, or you can go ahead and draw this out as a snake. And I did a wedge earlier, but we're going to do a snake this time. So you can see the wedge. What the heck? Again. Oh, I know what I did wrong. My mouse is starting to fuck up, so I got to get me a new mouse. Might do that today. New keyboard. So there's a snake off the 200. Wait for the pattern. You got your breakout. You got your breakout. Now that guy that taught me how to do this, or I'm learning from, he's in and out of these stocks within 2 to 3 minutes. He would have took this double bottom and got out right here. But he's putting in 25 grand a trade. I don't know how easy that would be. But me, I'm looking at a fallen wedge, and I know how to count to 3. So I'm adding my strategy to this moving average. You've got to learn them chart patterns. It will change your whole strategy. Your profit, I guarantee, will increase by 40%. Your accuracy. So we got a fallen wedge coming out of this snake. You got triple bottom, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it breaks out with 3 white soldiers. You got an inverted hammer, but it held the 200 and the 20 SMA. You finally got the crossover, and it let out with a big old bounce. So I would have took this trade right once it broke out, or maybe pulled back and hit that 20. I would have took it. I would have took it. Why? The question, why would I have took that trade? Because, now listen, this is real important. The 20 squeezes down to the 200. Just a little bit below. That's the squeeze. That's the squeeze where you really want to pay attention. You don't have that big gap. They tightened up like the Bollinger Bands. It's telling you that it's getting ready to have a breakout. You have a fallen wedge out of a snake. Snake, breakout, pull back, fallen wedge, boom, to a double top. You're holding on. You're still in that 10. You really want to, your stop loss is below the 10, or the 20 will keep you in the trade. But if you really want to get smart about it, as long as you hold that 10 SMA all the way up, you're still in that trade, and you get out at the double top. This is really going to be a clean strategy. I don't know. The good traders that I do know use moving averages. The mediocre traders trade on bots. They're having someone else trying to get you in a trade, going blindly. I create a strategy where you got to use your own head, and you got to come up with the answers for yourself. So let's take a little song break. And then I'm going to get right back to it here. Take a break, grab your popcorn. We're going to go through a watch list. Any questions? Washboardjim.
Sneaky snakes slithers past the rest. Breakout moves, he plays them best. Jim likes kitties and telemarketers too. Teaching fools like me. secrets that never get old. Jim likes titties and
Hey,
telemarketers
marketers too,
teaching fools
like me and you.
a work of art. His strategy's tight. Washboard Jim and the trading
Fight, 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 fight.
Lines and candles, a dance on the screen. We're standing in a world
So mean.
but Jim just laughs. Tips his own hat. He's got the moves. Imagine that. Like cities and telemarketers too, teaching fools like me and you a work of art. His strategy's tight. Washboard Jim in the trading fight.
Fight, fight. All right. So I kind of drew this out. And remember that double bottom? Breakout, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You got an inverse head and shoulders right here. 3 white soldiers. Holds that 200 SMA real well. Inverted hammer, which is a bullish signal. 5 2-minute candles. 10 minutes, you're out of that trade. Within 10 minutes, you're out of that trade. But I'm still staying in it because I'm above the 9. Hammer, 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 above the 9. Then I'm looking about getting out of this trade because we bounced and hit this 20 SMA. We're already at a double top, so I'm triggered to get out of the trade. A double top is a bearish pattern. A double bottom is a bullish pattern. So you want to get in the trade at the perfect time. Take that double bottom. So we're going to go over the watch list. Now, there might be Iran might puss out this weekend, but I don't trust Iran. They'll make some kind of deal and they'll end up getting a nuke from Pakistan or Russia or China. So I think that's one reason why they weren't too afraid about getting everything blown up, because they know in their long run that they can get connections. And these people are idiots, man. Crazy. So we're going to go through a watch list and see how many trades I can find with my watch list here. I mean, I'm really liking this. SPX, 200, 200, 200, 200. The widen the bands. As long as you stay in the trade, if it starts to go below it, get out. Crossover down, crossover up off the 200. So coin, Apple is another good one that bounced into close yesterday. Same strategy. Snake, breakout, fallen wedge. Finally broke out here with the crossover. And then we held the 9 all the way up to a double top out of the trade. Crossed over the 200 SMA right here. Stayed above the 10, 20 SMA. 20 SMA kept you in the trade all the way into close. Look at that. That's just so clean. I mean, it's real clean. I have eyes that I can see on the 1 minute, and I'm drawing patterns out. I might have got a lot more trades on the 1 minute, but this is going to be one for the rookie. All next week, we're all going to make money. If this works the way I think it's going to work, I'm not going to be bringing in 2 or 3 grand a day. I'm looking to bring 5 or 10 a day. 5 or 10 a day, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 40. It's going to give me more confidence. It's going to help me A lot of people don't want to use the 1 minute. They just don't want to take time out and use the bodies of the candle and draw these patterns out. They've been subject to the wicks. The wicks is a gift. The bodies are present and line up perfectly. So you're in and out of the trades before anybody else even thinks about it. And this strategy, I think, will keep me in the trade longer. I've got to show more patience and use the wisdom that I have. I'm here just giving you guidance. I'm not here to give you any kind of trades. I'm here for you to learn how to think. It's up to you. And that's when being in the now, coming in here with being dialed in. So Mister had a knife. Damn it. What have I done? So I'm going to go farther out and use the 1 hour. I'm going to have to move around. So we're definitely at a solid support. We're definitely at a solid support. Look at this. Body, wick, wick. Everything just lines up perfect. I mean, if I would have saw this Friday, you don't think I would have jumped in this trade? So we got a fallen wedge. Fallen wedge. It's bullish. Bullish. We came down and hit that. We zoomed out on the 1 hour and found out that this was a solid support. Anybody in here know how to count to 4? Can anybody count to 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! So you got a confirmation of that. One minute, got a crossover right here. You see how kind of bunched up that is? 2 minutes, a little bit cleaner. So we got a fallen wedge or a snake. Let's just put the snake in here. You got your snake, then you broke out with 3 white soldiers. So I'm bullish. That tells me I'm bullish. Right there, that's a huge lead out. I didn't take the trade because we just broke out. But it's telling me that I'm bullish now. As we started to cross over the 9, the 10, SMA, we found respect at the 20. Then it broke the 20. We have the crossover. It comes back and hits the 20. Got a double bottom down here. And it just keeps riding up the 20. How I'd have took this trade? I don't know. I don't know if I'd have took it or not. Probably not. That would have been a tough one. That's definitely bullish. So, trying to figure out where I would have took this trade. Oh, I know where I took it. After I studied it, higher lows, you got an ascending triangle. That's how I would have took that trade right there. As the squeeze started coming in, so you got your snake breakout, and then it forms the pattern, which is an ascending triangle on the 2 minute, and I would have probably took it here once it started breaking out and holding that 9, and then got out of the trade. You got 6, we got 18 minutes in the trade right there to a double top. Yep, that's where I would have probably got out of the trade. That one's a little bit tougher, so I probably wouldn't have took it. I need a cleaner strategy here. I would have took this one. I would have took this one. This in here is pretty clean. Again, just drawing out the snake. You got a wedge. You're still under the 20, so you don't want to take the trade. There's a head and shoulders right here. There's your head, your left shoulder, and your right shoulder. Still didn't break out of the 20, so you're still in that channel. Once it broke out, it's got my attention. We got an inverse head and shoulders. Chart patterns. Left shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, breaks out, starts to respect, and I took that trade to a double top. So you got another head and shoulders right here. Goes below the 21, and then you got another crossover. You got another crossover, and you got a megaphone pattern. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. 1, 2, 3. Crossover. 1, 2, and then it pulls back. Exit idea. 1, 2, 3. Out of the trade. Or you stay in the trade as long as it respects the 10 and the 20. But there's your triple top on that megaphone. So you took the trade right here on the crossover. Now it consolidated. Or you took it right here and you got right out right here on the top of that megaphone. And I would have stayed in it as long as we held that 9. Not that 10. But definitely was an exit idea. And then we end up at the 200 by the end of the day. It probably depreciated some by then. So that was your exit idea right in here. NVIDIA. This is the Magnificent 7. These are always, I look at every one of these every single day. I go over that whole watch list. These are my favorite trades. I've got NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Google, Goog, and Meta. Now, a lesson to learn is try not to hold any bias. I called this trade out Microsoft. I said this is a strong buy, but I ain't trading it. Yeah, how much I regret that. I mean, shit. Dude, I bet I regret it. So here's NVIDIA. Again, the double bottom comes into play. We've got snake breakout, a little pullback right here for that inverse head and shoulders. Would have took the trade once it crossed the 9, crossed the 21 on that candle right there, and run it up here, and then decide whenever I wanted to get out of it. We had another snake, same incident. We got a double bottom, bullish signal. Zooming out, we got an inverse head and shoulders, two-headed snake. If you know how to count to 3, patience. If you know how to count to 3, we got a fallen wedge. We got an inverse head and shoulders. We got a two-headed snake. We got a crossover. I would have took that trade right here. We got a symmetrical flag. This is on the 2-minute. 1, 2, 3. I would have jumped back in the trade off that. Run it up on the pullback of that breakout. So I would have took the trade down here. I would have took the trade right here. I would have exited the trade right here. This one here. Once we hit the 200 or that triple top. Then when I realized that we broke the triple top, I would have bought it right here and run it up to a double top and got out of the trade. Then we have another bull flag right here. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. And if you can count to 4, you just might make a little bit more. So that's called a bull flag. We're pulling back to the 200 again. 1, we got wick, body, wick, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the sweet spot. I would have took that trade on the triple bottom, and I'd have got out of that trade on this engulfing 10-minute run. I would have stayed in the trade if it held the 9 and jumped out into close. We have all kinds of scenarios. Real clean, real clean, real clean. I'm liking it. Fallen wedge, inverse head and shoulders, right shoulder, respect of the previous resistance, 1, 2, 3 count, bull flag. Yeah, beautiful. So let's pull up that scan, if I can find it. Apple. We already done Apple. Amazon. You got a fallen wedge. Read it open. If you just took the time out to learn these chart patterns, the confidence, and if you can count to 3, and if you can count to 4, you can get in and out of any trade easily. I come across a guy this for the first time since I've been trading for 22 years that says real simple. You just got to count to 3. This guy's been trading for over 40 years. I've been trading 22 years. It took me 18 years to figure that out on my own. So if I knew what I knew now when I first started, I'd probably be worth a couple $100 million. Now, I ain't exaggerating. just my accuracy level. And once I started counting to 3, just like skyrocketed to 90 to 95%. So we got a fallen wedge into open. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sweet spot. We break out with a major breakout. So at open, we had the crossover. We respected the 200 SMA. Right at open, I'm watching Amazon. I'm looking at the news. I'm being in the now. I'm wondering if we had a big pullback the day before. A lot of things are going through my head. And I jump in the trade. Once we pull back to the 200 right here, we have the crossover. We have the respect of the 200 SMA. We have a real hot hammer. A lot of volatility. Triple top, double top, I'm out of the trade. I don't wait for it to pull back. The 9 starting to cross over the 10 starting to cross over the 20 SMA. We have a big gap up. The 10 is gapped up way above the 20 SMA, which is telling me to keep my fingers on this mouse. I got out of the trade once we came down and failed the 20. I'm out. I'm out. So I took it right here, and I would have, yes, definitely got a head and shoulders. I would have got out maybe right there. So you got a fallen wedge, you got a crossover in respect for the 200. That's Amazon. Microsoft, big breakout, bullish. So I'm sitting here calling this trade out first thing in the morning. Nobody trades the 200 SMA like I do. Nobody. It's my favorite moving average in any time frame. I only got one person watching. Who is it? Let me see if I only got one person watching, because I'm going to be pissed. Probably going to church. Yeah, only one person watching. They're the one that's going to benefit this week. So we came back and hit the 200 twice. That's called a double bottom. As we pulled back, we had the breakout pullback. Then we got the crossover. All the way up. Triple top out of the trade. Great entry right here. So you're in this trade, and 6 minutes later, after you see that third soldier, you're out of the trade. Or you stay in the trade as long as it respects the 10. You're still in the trade. 3 white soldiers, continuation pattern. You're still above the 10. You're still above the 21. So it didn't fail until right about here. But you took your profit at a double top. Called it a day. So you were in that trade for what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's your 16th candle at a double top. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 28. You're in this trade 56 minutes. You're in this trade almost an hour. Nailed it off the 200 SMA. So you got the 200 bounce of the double bottom. You got a fallen wedge. If you count to 3, you can trade with me. Come on, cockroach. So you got a fallen wedge, 1, 2, 3, breakout. Three white soldiers. You have the crossover. Could have jumped in the trade right there. Could have jumped in the trade right there. And you exit the trade right there. Definitely jump in the trade off the 200 with a double bottom. So you're in at the very bottom of the trade, and you hold it all the way up here to a double top. Inverted hammer is a sell signal. It's a shooting star. So you got a double top. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Clean, clean, real clean. Google's next. So you look at the big picture. We had a breakout right at open. Pulls back and respects the 9. As long as you're following this here 20, the 20, goes back and respects the 20. You got an inverse head and shoulders right here. You have a crossover. Say you missed that first trade, but here you got a setup. This is on the 2 minute. So you have the crossover. You have a fallen wedge. You have an inverse head and shoulders. You take the trade on the crossover. You got the right shoulder touching twice. The second time is a secret. I'm jumping in the trade now. Nah, patience is the key. So you got a fallen wedge. You want to draw that pattern in. Here you know you're squeezing. You ain't got much room in here. It's either going to go down or it's going to go up. So you let out with 3 white soldiers. There's your head and shoulders right here. Consolidates, respects the 9, moves on up. But that was your entry right here. Next. Tesla. Tesla I traded Friday. So you hit the 200 on the 2 minute. You know that that's bearish. It comes down. Again, you've got a fallen wedge. You got a tweezer bottom. Tweezer bottom. You have the crossover, the 10 crossing over the 20 to take the trade. It respects the 9. 3 white soldiers telling me that this thing's bullish. You got another fallen wedge. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. So you got a head and shoulders. You got a fallen wedge. You got the right shoulder. You broke out again with 3 more soldiers. You broke out with 3 soldiers telling me that this thing's very bullish. When you see an engulfing candle leading out, that's a good indicator that it's going to get a lot of people's attention. They're going to start, they got signals, engulfing candle, and they buy on them signals. It creates a green light, and it pops up on their screen. So if you can count to 3, and if you can count to 4, you'll learn how to make a lot more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! I'm using the bodies. The wicks are confirmation. Breaks out, respects the 20. You run it all the way up until it disrespects the 20. And you're out of the trade. And you're in that trade. Look at that. You're in that trade a good hour. As long as you're respecting the 20, you're still in the trade. Google. Then I'm going to get out of here after I finish this watch list. I got to go up and do a few things on my property. I don't know if I'd have took this trade at open. It would look maybe on the pullback here if I felt like I was a goog trader that day. And Meta's at a bottom right now. It's kind of consolidating. I have what you call a 3-day rule. I'm going to come in Monday and probably take this trade. Being in the now, they've spent a lot of money on CapEx. They got a lot of money coming in. They don't have any problem bringing money in. So he spent it on on AI. So the fat cats all of a sudden become very bearish. Oh, we're worried about the spending. We're only in the third inning. We got 6 more innings to go. We got a couple more years to be trading AI. These people are fools. They wanted to bring this market down so they can get back in on the dip. Many missed the ride because they have what you call Trump drain syndrome. I've never seen anything like it in the 22 years that I've traded. Biden couldn't think for himself, but that didn't scare them. They had the bureaucrats running the country. And I guess they liked that, abusing that old man. They love the open borders, human trafficking. And I've argued with them about that. There's legal Americans that can work. So I think I went sour grapes on them once they started supporting illegal immigrants. I said, screw this. So I've kind of been their leading advocate of telling them they're full of crap. So we had a snake here. These sell-offs, like this one right here, we got a triple bottom. You got a symmetrical flag. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. I had a lady tell me this weekend she has a lot of success waiting for the setup. Me, I'm ready in the trade right at morning. I took this double bottom, tweezer bottom, and sold it on that engulfing candle. I would have took this double bottom and sold it at a double top. You have a triple bottom with a wick. Boom. 1, 2. Then you got 2 wicks. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I would have took it trade right down here. I would have took it. It's a sweet spot. I mean, I know that the 3 and the 4 is a sweet spot. If it ain't going to break out, it ain't going to break out. Or it will, and it's just going to take a long time for it to do it. So I'm in this trade right here. We break out of that snake on number 3, and I run it up. I decide enough's enough. We had the crossover. She comes back down and respects, and then we have another crossover. So we've got a snake. Whoop. We'll just leave that right there. So we got 3 black crows right here telling me that we're going to start to maybe consolidate. This is one of my favorite trading strategies right here. 3 black crows with a tweezer bottom, spinning top into 3 white soldiers. Up to the 20 out of the trade. Up to the 200 SMA. I'm still staying above the 20 and respecting the 9. So I'm still in the trade. I either sell it here, 6 minutes, or I sell it here, or I buy it here. As long as we're above that 20, buy it here, buy it here, buy it here, sell it here. So I go in small, I add on. This here turned into an ascending triangle. I add on, or I sell. Very clean. Yep, that's going to be my strategy this week. So let's have a little summary. I also be one of my chart setups. I've got the 2 minute over here, the SPY. I've got the tape. I got the tape, and I got the VWAP. Many times, once I break that VWAP, I start to become very bullish. Then we pulled back to that shoulder the right second time. So I jump in the trade, and then we break the 200. Another head and shoulders. So this is all looking bullish to me. Snake breakout to the 200. Pull back. We got a signal right here. Buy signal. The hammer right there. To the 200. And I'm out of the trade. On the VWAP. And I'm trading the SPX. Or the SPY. In this window right here. I also have another. Where's that? Where's that? Probably moved it around. So when I'm trading the SPX and the SPY, I'm over here looking at the /ES. And it builds my confidence. So we had the VWAP, and we have the 200 for an exit idea. Comes back down to that right shoulder the second time, and then we end up breaking that VWAP, and it becomes respect. So that also gives me confidence to stay in the SPX and run it up. As long as I'm above the VWAP, I want to stay in this stock because it's bullish. You could get it, and now's the time not to get greedy, but with this strategy, I think I can stay in trades longer. All it takes is a freaking headline anymore to knock stock down. And then you got the fat cats that won't shut up about CapEx. So they're trying their best to bring it down too. And then you got Trump deranged syndrome. I know good traders. And every once in a while they'll post something negative about Trump or about Elon. And I kind of rub it into them. So, does anybody have a stock they want me to look at right now under this strategy that's in the chat? You have a stock that you're in. This strategy works in different time frames. You could use the weekly and swing. You could use the daily and swing. You could use the 1 hour and swing. So it'll work in any time frame. What kind of person you are, how you like to trade. You want to get in at a good spot. Look at the weekly, the daily, and the 1 hour. In that order. For example, Definitely meta, definitely strong. So we got the 20, bounce up off the 20. That's you're in that trade for about 3 months till you show up with an inverse head and shoulders. You jump in that trade. You're in it for about, as long as you respect the 9 on the SPX. Once you don't respect the 20, you're out of the trade. Then you close in on the 200. You're back in the trade. You cross over right here. You're still in the trade. 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, almost a year, and you're out of the trade. You buy the dip, you stay in the trade. Tesla has volatility. A lot of people cry about Tesla. A lot of people cry about Tesla. You're at the 200. Boom. You're respecting the 20. Boom. You respect the 20. Boom. You disrespect the 20. And you come down here and have that big sell-off. Everything else sold off too. Then you got 3 black crows. And you're back down here at the 200. Buy signal. Called it out. I got in it, traded it 2 or 3 times. Two-minute Friday. I'm bullish on this stock at this level because we hit that, come close to that 200 on the weekly. Don't no one tell me how important that 200 SMA is. How it ain't. I don't want nobody to come to me and say that 200 is worthless, because I might have to open up a can of whoop ass. To the 200 out of the trade. This could be a daily trader because we're at support. Let me think of something. Anybody got a stock? Anybody got a stock that they like, that they're in or they watch on a daily basis? Type it in the room. Type it in the chat on YouTube. Any. I don't care. Look at Bank of America. What the heck is this? Well, that don't look right. That don't look right at all. What the fudge? Warren Buffett says you don't need 20 right calls to get rich. 4 or 5 will probably do it. Warren Buffett, you still in cash, you idiot? You missed a good ride, punk. You got Citibank, hits the 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. 200. Boeing. Three black crows. Then you got your snake. You got your crossover. You're still bearish as long as it's under the 20. Once it crosses over the 20, you run it up and get out of it at the 200. Respects. I got a triple bottom here, still in the trade. You got a fallen wedge or symmetrical flag right at the end of it, and it squeezes. That's your entry right there. Once that 10 starts to cross the 20, you're in the trade. And also, if that 10 was not there, you'd still be in the trade if you stayed above the 20. Okay, well, I'm going to go. I hope this helps out. And we'll leave with a song. Patience is the companion to wisdom. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. See the setups that others miss. Follow the data. Master the market. And dominate with discipline. Sneaky snake trading strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and always having a new case study.
Narcissistic Jim, with his ego and his wit, doesn't give a damn what you think of him one bit. When market takes a dip, SPX Jimmy will buy. Bitchin' at Molly Carolyn, still the apple of his eye. Burp it up, Jim, let it fly, let it roar, let it roar. Stocks tend to rise with a fart from his core. Narcissistic Jim doesn't care what you think. He'll burp and fart out loud until his room stinks. Candles on his screen bounce like titties in the night. Burps get so loud the neighbors say that boy ain't right. Bull or bear, calls or puts, doesn't matter one bit. Jimmy's face can't wait for Nancy to come and sit. Fart for a dip, ass making noise. Burp for a rip, cheers from his boys. Jimmy is grinding away on his washboard toy. Burp it up, Jim, let it fly, let it roar, let it roar. Stocks tend to rise with a fart from his core. Narcissistic Jim doesn't care what you think. He'll burp and fart out loud until his room stinks. Lots of fun he has, his ego's ablaze. Burps and farts collide, your room is so amazing. Narcissistic Jim, the legend, the king, playing his old washboard till that closing bell rings. Narcissistic Jim. Narcissistic Jim. Narcissistic Jim.
All right. Please be blessed.